Stagnation, welcome back to the channel.
Champions.
You know, one of the benefits of living in the West is this idea that there is competition everywhere. And this competition is supposed to drive down prices of things on the market. Create a fair market, all right, for everyone. In fact, the United States has gone as far as prosecuting or causing a great inconvenience for some companies that seem to be appearing to become a monopoly. We saw this with Microsoft. Google was one of them. And Zuckerberg as well. Antitrust activity, if you will. The level of information that Facebook was collecting was found to be problematic, right? Now, one thing that I noticed is that all of these sectors had nothing to do with finances.
Stay away from finance. Attack everything else.
Yes. But in the case of finances, they seem to let them fly with everything. And I think this is the same reason why everything around us has upgraded, has been innovated upon, has improved since the 70s, except for money. Money is the only thing that has not changed its form factor. And in fact, right now, we see that there is one entity, BlackRock, that seems to be in full control of everything. Yet, we don't see Gensler and the other entities that have enforced these antitrust situations in the past saying anything about it.
Oh, even if they find anything, they just slap a finger. They slap a pinky.
Yes. Which makes it curious. What is different here? We're going to check out a short video.
What the hell is going on?
Yes, to give a bit of context. And then we're going to jump right into it here. So check this out.
Just a made-up story. None of it's real. Woke up this morning, United States of BlackRock. God damn, my bed sure felt comfy. But we keep it moving, so I got up, went and hopped in the shower, cleaned myself off, made myself a nice cup of coffee, and I was just about to go sit on the toilet when I got a call from my buddy. He's like, yo, we're going on vacation. But he wouldn't tell me where, so I packed a quick bag and hopped on my Harley, drove down to the airport where I checked into my gate, but I had enough time to go grab another cup of coffee. You know me, I keep it lit. But then we hopped on our plane, and shit, we went to Disneyland, baby.
All right. So, there we go. What are your thoughts, sir?
Man, I tell you, man, that clip right there went by really fast.
Yeah.
Rewind it.
Yeah,
the
definitely.
fact is
Definitely.
that from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, you are underneath a black rock.
Being extorted by the biggest monopoly on earth. So we see, as the gentleman was describing in that video, everything he did, no matter what company he went to, BlackRock seems to be a majority shareholder, or Vanguard. They both seem to be majority shareholders in that company. And so we find ourselves in this pyramid scheme. Essentially, you cannot even say pyramid without saying scheme anymore when talking about these financial people.
That's what it is.
Where we see that BlackRock and Vanguard owns everything, as well as State Street. But then BlackRock owns State Street. And then BlackRock and Vanguard own the majority shares in each other's company.
Oh my goodness.
Which equals to one person. So even if there is two people, two entities owning this thing, it's really the same thing. You know what I mean? It's like if you're in a minivan with your family, right? Are you driving two cars or are all of you driving one car? Right? That is really what it is. You're driving one car, and that one car is BlackRock, if you will. Now, I would like to touch back on this Sherman Antitrust Act here. You see, the Sherman Antitrust Act,
brought to you by justice.gov.
yes,
Justice
justice.gov,
Department.
or whichever entity is managing this type of situation, because we don't even know of them anymore.
It's the branch of a government.
Oh, okay. Where are they now? Where are they? It seems the one time we never hear about them because there's never really a situation for them to do. But the one time that you need them to do their job, nowhere to be found. You see, this Sherman Antitrust Act states that the act essentially outlaws all contracts combinations and conspiracies that unreasonably restrain interstate and foreign trade. This includes agreement amongst competitors to fix prices, rig bids, and allocate customers, which are punishable as a criminal felony.
Criminal.
It is up to you to go back and see if BlackRock has violated any one of these.
Oh my God, this
But I
is
think
2008 right here. Nobody went to jail as a criminal for 2008 financial crisis.
2008, today, that video which we just watched at the beginning there, BlackRock owning the most of Vanguard and Vanguard owning the most of BlackRock. I don't know. Would you not say that is agreements between competitors, which can allow them to fix prices?
Allocate customers.
Rig bids with things like Aladdin.
Yep.
Allocate customers. I mean, we all are the customers now because no matter what you do,
they own you.
The funds are coming to them. How is this not being punished yet as a criminal or felony? Let's carry on.
Maybe those that are managing the acts or enforcing the acts have been paid out. That's a felony on itself.
That is not even far-fetched. America used to be a place where you could not say it was corrupt like that. But at this point in time, an unlawful monopoly exists when firms control the market for a product or service. As far as I know, BlackRock is not providing any product or service. I know that some people could say, well, they manage your investment funds. They are not managing your investment funds if you are not able to control what they do with it. They're not managing your investment funds if you don't have control over the money.
They're not managing your investment fund if Aladdin is doing it.
Yeah. Your quality of life does not match that of these people.
No.
So how is it that they're managing your money, but they're living better than you? You need to look at it differently. They're not managing your fund. You're a customer who has been allocated to their scheme. And until you opt out, there is no hope for you.
As a matter of fact, those that benefit from this management are the accredited investors and the institutions that can afford the BlackRock fees.
Exactly. So, and especially when you have obtained this power, not because your product or service is superior to others, but by suppressing competition with anti-competitive conduct.
Ooh.
You see, if you came up with a company that was not maybe ESG
compliant.
I don't know if it was say ESG compliant or ESG friendly. I would say, I guess, an ESG advocate.
They will invest in your company and threaten to pull out the investment to destroy your company.
Exactly. That is not, reasonable. Let's say if it's a matter of LGBTQ situations. I think that is something where a company, they may fly a flag, or they may not fly a flag, whatever the case might be. We still all have rights in this country, right? That is not something that BlackRock, an investment firm, should be getting involved in.
But they do. They come in and say, if you don't raise the flag, we'll pull our investment. And guess what happens? Your company crashes.
Okay. Well, the act is, however, not violated simply when one firm's vigorous competition and lower prices take sales from less efficient competitors. In that case, competition is working properly, but that's not what we're seeing here. They are buying all the competitors, so the competitors don't even have a chance to fight against them. Let's take a look at an overview, right, of the scale at which these people control the market right now. So we see BlackRock and Vanguard are two of the big three passive fund asset management firms. Likely not passive, given that we all know Aladdin is there actively. And of course, you have the third one being State Street, which is owned by BlackRock. So technically, you could just say it's BlackRock. All right.
I keep saying they forget to put Blackstone, which is also owned by BlackRock.
Well, but that's the thing. Is like, why even put that? BlackRock owns all of them. It's like putting Starbucks here. BlackRock owns Starbucks. We don't need to put it. BlackRock owns all of it. Okay.
Owns you.
So, now it seems that combined, these three are looking at about 20 trillion in managed assets. Right, and this is the equivalent of more than half of the combined value of all the shares on the S&P 500. In fact, if you look at your investments in the S&P 500, it's about 38 trillion, or at least the S&P 500 is about 38 trillion, right? And these people clearly have the buying power of more than half of that.
And guess what? S&P 500 is 500 of the top companies in the US.
Okay.
So they control all the companies.
To emphasize the magnitude of this monopoly, Bloomberg refers to BlackRock as the fourth branch of the government because it's the only private agency that works closely with central banks. You see, central banks, the Federal Reserve is also a private entity, right? Which is considered part of the government.
I've said this so many times. During the Obama presidency, my biggest concern was that all of his committee members were mostly ex-BlackRock. If you look at the SEC, if you look at the Federal Reserve, anybody that's making decision about your money is mostly ex-BlackRock.
As we know, these people own the Federal Reserve, but it gets even more shocking. Let's take a little dive into some of the sectors that they're fully in control of, right? Have a grasp on it. Iron Claw, not releasing to anyone. You see, in the global financial markets, BlackRock has a secret weapon. And this secret weapon is a trading algorithm called Aladdin. You see, Aladdin has been working for the past decade to shape the global financial markets. And I want to bring a special attention to that word, shaping the global markets for decades. It was not participating.
It was configuring
in the markets.
It was
shaping. It was influencing. It was analyzing and changing the structure of the free market.
Global markets.
Exactly. Which makes it no longer a free market when there is one algorithm that has captured all of it. And we'll see how deep this goes here. You see, Aladdin is capable of executing over 250,000 trades per day and operates more than 21 trillion in assets. It executes in every industry, essentially, every sector. And of course, it's directing the actions of the Federal Reserve and almost every major US bank. So, in some ways, when Jerome comes up and says we're going to increase interest rates here and there because they're expecting some sort of an outcome from this interest rate increase, the algorithm may influence that decision or lead to an outcome that is unexpected. I think we have seen that the markets at this point in time is in a situation that has never been before.
As a matter of fact, if you're day trading, just consider yourself lucky.
Yeah.
Because you cannot win against a system that can pull up those level of trades.
Yes. It will also make sense now why Bloomberg calls them the third arm of the government, because it seems that they own the Federal Reserve, which makes sense. If they've borrowed so much money to the Federal Reserve, especially like in the 2008 crisis, how can the Federal Reserve be their boss?
Exactly.
This thing controls over half of all ETFs. So half of all ETFs.
Forget it. Your 401k, your mutual funds.
This is so ridiculous, because here's the scary thing about this. A lot of times people would watch these videos, or people even read these articles and things like that. And I think society in general reacts to it like this is happening out there, not in their portfolio. So a lot of people will hear this recording and they will not even take action. Half of all ETFs, no matter where your 401k is, it's very likely that this thing is manipulating it. And it is very likely that at the point when you retire, you'll be in for a ride. 17% of the bond market. Isn't that a pretty big?
That is where, so you retire, they tell you to move your money to the bonds because it's much safer. But if Aladdin is controlling that and saying, okay, this is the time when most people are going to retire, which Aladdin does know. Aladdin knows the data of every American's investments.
Yeah.
Because the banks give it to them.
Yeah.
Right? So they know what percentage of Americans are about to retire. Guess what happens during those times? Major market crash.
You can rip the market downwards. And
So-
we've seen this multiple times now. There's been a pattern of this.
So even your Dave Ramsey's of the world saying ETFs, mutual funds, and bonds.
Yeah.
You can retire into the bonds and the bond market could still crash because they choose if it's going to crash or not. Your ETFs, they control that as well. But they make sure that the pain is not too heavy or high. They know what the threshold for Americans are. So they try to keep it to a limit.
The threshold to keep you docile, but just right below where you are motivated to go out and protest.
Yeah.
But right there in the middle where you stay a slave.
They do the same thing with the interest rate hikes.
Yeah. Well, it says it right there. It collects data points on every market, every company, and every asset, and uses machine learning to calculate which trades to execute. It calculates which trades to execute. I don't care if you're a financial guru or what sort of knowledge you have on anything. When we're talking about AI, we're talking about collective knowledge of every smart trader out there in the world. This thing is trained on the data sets of the smartest, the best of the best. And so you combine that into one brain and it is unbeatable, no matter who you are.
And you're thinking that it's just trades.
Yeah.
What about the access is given to the Federal Reserve in terms of interest rates, hikes, and decrease?
Well, I think that this determines that.
Which country to go to war with?
Yeah.
Which country do we pull the resources from?
Well, I think, this is true because you can do this. You can do calculations, merit loss, and I guess what you call it, a cost analysis.
Yes,
Return
risk
of
analysis.
investment.
Yeah,
Return of investment analysis as well.
Think about it. BlackRock is currently being investigated for China, investing in the Chinese military.
Who is investigating that?
Oh, themselves, probably. Because
Shocking.
the aspect of the U.S. government, I think it's even the SEC, of all people.
Oh, yeah. Gensler. Gensler's job is to protect the investors until the investors actually need protection.
You know,
while you actually need protection, he's going to be wrecking your portfolio. When you don't need the protection, he's going to be all over it. All over it. XRP, Veritasium, it goes on and on. Every major bank fund has come to rely on Aladdin. So every major bank, it does not matter where your bank is, they're now using this application configured or owned by BlackRock. So
basically, I would say in that case, they're probably just sending over the money.
I mean, if you think about it, they own the Federal Reserve.
Yep.
It's either you get on the program or we'll shut out your bank.
Yep.
It's really what it is. They don't have to negotiate anything with you. Yep. So it's a pyramid scheme. They own it all, right? When they say own it, they're not talking about a partnership. They own it completely. Because if you either jump on Aladdin and let them make money from you, or you can try to trade against Aladdin and they will wreck your bank.
That is why they wrecked all the crypto banks.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
So,
that is totally a criminal offense.
Its whole existence right now is a criminal offense. The whole thing's existence. There is multiple criminal. Listen, I'm not a lawyer, but I can read plain English. And on plain English, I know you can probably try to come up with some, how would you say, some gray areas. But I'll tell you this, you don't even need gray areas when you're fully in control of energy, fully in control of the tech sector, fully in control of media, fully in control of money. The gray areas don't matter. The loopholes don't matter. You can do whatever you want and you will get away with it. I think we all know that. So every major bank, of course, is on this thing, and it raises a fundamental question about the fragile structure of our economy. Listen, the economy is fragile, okay? Bitcoin is the only thing that is going to be able to stand 10 toes down with this thing. Let's look at the tech industry, okay? You see that this thing, Alphabet, what is it, 14% of Apple, 15% of Microsoft, 13% of Amazon.
And you're surprised why you're being shadow banned.
It would seem to me that most of the CEOs that own these companies don't even have the majority share. The majority share is owned by BlackRock.
Yep.
Interesting. Now, let's take a quick rundown of this energy industry situation here. We see that BlackRock has invested $170 billion in public energy companies, $85 billion in coal companies, and of course, BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard, all one person, okay, hold 46 billion in debt and equity in oil companies currently operating in the Amazon rainforest. And of course, 19% of ConocoPhillips, 21% of Valero, 16% in ExxonMobil, respectively, and big giants like ConocoPhillips, Occidental, and Chevron. So at this point in time, it seems that that sector as well, these people have fully captured it, even though it's a sector that they seem to be claiming to be against with their ESG initiatives.
Energy. It's something that everybody needs around the globe. And when you look at this, energy has also been captured by BlackRock globally. Issue going on in Nigeria and Niger and the whole disruption going on in Africa, BlackRock is behind it. In Europe, Russia, Ukraine, BlackRock already signed the deal, try to figure out how to help Ukraine out at the end of the deal.
Yeah.
But guess what caused the trouble in the first place? BlackRock. List goes on and on and on.
It goes on. And of course, the final one here, digital media. I think this is a very strong one because if you know, communication is a superpower. If you're able to get your points across, you're essentially the winner in any situation. It is a very powerful tool, which makes sense why they're in control of 90%. Okay? 90% of US media. That is pretty much almost all of it. Because what is the exception? Some YouTube, but YouTube, we're also seeing censoring going on there.
We saw what happened with Facebook and Twitter during the presidential campaign.
Exactly. So any major outlet or media outlet, right? MSNBC, you name it, these people have full control of it. And they will preach to you or push the propaganda that is sent down from BlackRock.
That is unfair advantage. So literally, if you've read The Intelligent Investor, you will learn that the media controls, like if you're reading the media and you're saying the market is going to crash, you're probably too late. Market probably has already started crashing.
Absolutely.
Or they are trying, BlackRock is trying to start buying. So trying to get you to sell your shares so that they can buy.
But here's what I'll say though. I think it's past the time of them buying. They don't need to buy anything anymore. They own all of it already.
I mean, I'd to it.
I mean, what else is there to buy? At this point in time, right? If BlackRock decides that...
I'll tell you what they've been buying. Okay. The old time that they used ESG campaign to shut down the price action of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Guess who's been buying Bitcoin?
BlackRock?
Yes.
Right, but this is the point I'm saying. When it comes to buying stocks, right? I don't think that they need to buy any more stocks because they have the majority share of every company. Not only do they have the majority share of every company, they have Aladdin that will make sure that they always keep that.
Yes. But because you have to remember, as an investor, right, there's cycles. There's the time for you to sell, take your profits, give your investors their funds, crash the market, buy it again. So it's the systemic exits and entry. Who are the investors? Who are the investors that are giving these funds? This is where I'm coming from, right? If you have, because at some point, right, there was a point in time where yes, it's like there's market cycles and they would buy. But after you buy, there's a next step. You're buying for a reason, right? Yes. You could be buying to make profit. Yes. In their case, they're buying to maintain full control. Yep. As it is right now, they have full control, especially of things like the media, right? So in this case, it's like, what cycle would people be waiting for when they shape the direction of the market? You know, when you look at the 401ks and anything that the general public are investing in, you don't get that money till you're retired. You don't get that money for a long time. Yeah, 401k, so you're not getting any returns. Yeah. But for the stocks, those that are trying to exit, you know, if you're lucky not to be exiting during their cycles, then it's absolutely insane, man. We essentially find ourselves in a massive pyramid scheme, probably the greatest scam that we've seen of all time. Except that this scam, you cannot stop it unless you can opt out.
you can opt out using Bitcoin. Okay. Bitcoin is the one asset right now that BlackRock cannot control. No matter how much money BlackRock has, they cannot buy all the Bitcoin out there. Okay. Even if they buy these Bitcoins and maybe never use it, we still have the ability to operate in a essentially a uncontrolled, a decentralized environment. If they never sell the Bitcoin. If they do choose to sell their Bitcoin at some point in time, I think society will be wiser and they will buy up all of those Bitcoins. So we find ourselves in an interesting place. Can Aladdin dominate Bitcoin? We'll see. We'll discuss that in another video. But as far as I see, I think that we're living in a clear pyramid scheme and BlackRock is playing God.
Not only is BlackRock playing God, they are controlling every living breath in you. You're probably watching this video right now thinking, I am concerned. I am chasing yield. I want to have my money, my value make sense years from now.
Yeah.
But what we've discovered and showed you today is that decision is not yours. It's not even the free market's decision. It's in the hand of one major company, which is BlackRock. And you can either choose to be part of that system and be lucky enough to exit in one of the up cycles, or say, you know what, I think I should opt out. The one way you can opt out, study Bitcoin.
So good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we depart the screen, okay, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share this with your friends. You can also find us on X, formerly known as Twitter. STAKK is the handle there. And of course, we are also on Spotify, STAKK. Until next time, praise and out.
Double O.